Lucas, and welcome to Book 101 Review. Book 101 is all about the books that I read for the last 40 years. And today I have my special guest. She is helping seniors retire with financial freedom, or all of the ages that want to secure their financial freedom, no other than Miss Ann Pells.
Thank you, Daniel. Happy to be here. Appreciate it.
Welcome to Book 101, Miss Ann, and can you please introduce more about yourself?
I have two phone calls that changed my life, and I love to share that with other people. One helped us pay our house off in 5 to 7 years instead of the 30 years that we all know. And we used all of that interest that we saved to purchase our own financial freedom. And that's been a real wonderful journey for me. I want to just give people permission to have that opportunity if they want to, either to save all that money on the house they live in or to purchase businesses that make 10K a month, which is an hour a week of time, or to find other teams that'll help them to get what they want. I think there's so much magic in the world to have happening when you aren't worried about money, you have enough time, you enjoy the best relationships and great health. And I just, I'm passionate about helping people to find that and give themselves permission for what they've always wanted to have. So, yeah.
Miss Anne, thank you so much for helping people all over the world in terms of their financial needs. So, what's the pivotal moment or lessons in your 25-year journey made you realize the power of passive, professionally managed assets?
Um, I think it started when my children were 3 and under. My husband brought home a pink slip of paper that meant that we didn't have any income coming in from his job anymore. It was totally unexpected. I'm sure everyone that listens to this will have had something in their life happen that they didn't plan on. And for me, that started all right, we have got to figure out a different way to do this. Um, it was a very hard and scary time for our family. And I remember talking with my grandpa previously, maybe 10 years before that. I was 15 on the couch, and grandpa said, "Ann, can't is not in my dictionary." I'm like, "Yes, it is. It's between B and D. It's a C." And he said, "No, I mean, whenever I feel like I can't do something, I ask myself instead the question, how can I?" And I think those two turning points were when I learned, instead of, ah, we can't have any more money now, instead we ask ourselves, how can we get what we want, and figure out people and teams and systems to make sure that that's happening kind of on autopilot, so that I didn't have to have that pink slip experience anymore. I'm just really passionate about people. Like, I things happen and we can't control everything that happens, but we can control how we what we do about it. And that just became my, okay, I got it. How can we have money coming in and still have the life that we've always hoped for our children and the people around us? I'm really, really passionate about making sure people have hope. And for me, that means that some of the income that we have now goes to help people who need clean water, food, um, that they don't have educational resources and other things. And so, um, but that's what began it. 20 years, and I'm grateful to have gone on that journey. But at the moment of the pink slip, it was like, oh my word, what do we do, right? So I hope everyone can
Congratulations.
kind of think of their own spot in their life where they were like, oh no, and then be able to move beyond that into the next chapter, and the good parts they're coming. So,
Miss Anne, how did you transition from traditional grind investing to system requiring just 1 hour a week?
well, I spent a lot of time. I feel like Edison's journey and a thousand tries to get the light bulb right. That's We tried a lot of different things, a lot of different systems and teams, and I finally found teams and people that we tried to put in one spot at lifegiverlegacy.com, our website, that people could at least give themselves the permission to talk to those teams and see if that's a workable solution for them. Started about 5 years ago when we had our first phone call, which was with a team that showed us how to pay our mortgage down faster without changing any income or expenses at all. And so within a couple of years, we had 200,000 more dollars to work with than we'd ever had before in our life. And um, I started asking that, how can I take this extra $200,000 that we wouldn't have had that would have just gone to the bank to pay interest on our house? How can I take that now and find people who have what I want, which is that income coming in while we're sleeping? How do I find those people? And I kept asking questions, and that's what even if you don't use my teams or my phone calls and anything about our website, I encourage people to do that. Always be curious and asking questions, because there's something, there's a way to have that hope and to get what you're looking for all the time. I I would never have imagined where we would be when we started really asking those questions a few years back to where things are for us. And I think people think that money needs to take a long time, it needs to be hard, needs to be difficult. And sometimes it doesn't need to be. Sometimes we just need to find the right who, the who that have already done what you want, and let them help you. Nobody has to do it alone. Um, a lot of years of that 25 years, I felt really alone and, oh, I don't know what we're doing. How do we get this figured out? And I think that's why I'm so passionate now. Like, oh, I just want people to have access to resources and teams and people that can manage all of those parts of a business and professionally managed assets, like you said, that create possibility they didn't know they could have. And a lot of people are going through a lot of hard things, and I think we just, as soon as we can help each other to win. I mean, we're all on the same team. When I have more, I can share more. And when I've had times of having less and being stressed and worried, other people came to help me. So I think this is my way to pay it forward for all the times when people helped us when we needed it, when it was hard. So, yeah.
Congratulations, Miss Anne, and keep up the good work of helping people out there. What common misconception about real estate or business investing do you have debunking for newcomers?
I think people think it's hard and they have to figure it all out on their own. And really, um, what if making money is easy? If you have the right tools and the right people who know how to do it, it's easy to build a house. I don't know personally how to do it, but I know people who know how to do it. And so I think real estate and businesses are the same. If we don't know something personally, but we know someone who could help us, then we give ourselves the permission slip to say, it's okay, I can have them help me. I personally really don't like to cook, but my daughter loves it. And so if I let her do it, it brings her happiness and joy, and it brings me joy too, because I get to eat what she cooks for us without me personally having to know everything and do it all by myself. So I think that's the most common misconception, is that people think they have to figure it all out on their own and they've got to do all the things all by themselves. And that's not necessarily the case. So sometimes it can be done better by other people who already have done that and know how to do it.
Miss Anne, how do you vet and trust professionals to handle day-to-day operations so you stay hands off?
That's a wonderful question. Um, it's a process of just looking at the results they've already had. If you're choosing a recipe and you've seen hundreds and hundreds of people do that successfully and it turns out right every time, then you, and I feel that way with the professionals that we choose and that we trust and put on our website. If I know that they have a track record and they've already done this hundreds of times before, then it won't be hard for them to help me to do it again and to manage the day-to-day operations of everything to make sure that we have the result we want. I feel that way about health and money. And, if you need heart surgery and you go to a heart surgeon that's already done this hundreds of times before, you can trust that he will take good care of you while you have that health procedure done. And I feel that works well for lots of other instances too, when we're trying to decide who to trust and who can have the right tools in the toolbox to make sure the result gets where it needs to go. You know.
The right tools, people, and the right
Hmm.
people.
Yeah.
Miss Anne, walk us through exactly how someone spends just 60 minutes a week managing assets to generate 10K a month.
And that's a process that we're on calls like this on Zoom usually, and they're helping us choose companies that have already been existing. You might have heard and noticed in the news and various people that lots of the baby boomers are retiring. They have built an amazing business for 30, 40 years, and they really want that to keep going. But they don't have anyone in their family who would be able to run it for them. So that's how we do that. In 1 hour a week, we have a team of people who help us vet and look at the opportunities and the businesses that are for sale in different areas and locations. They've already gone through 2008 and COVID and all the crazy things that happen in the economy, and they're still doing well. And so the business itself has a track record, and our team has a track record for managing it well. And then it's just an hour of an update time that we get to ask them how the sales and marketing are performing, and do we need to hire some new people, do we need to change how we're approaching this particular situation in the company. And that's where I think the magic starts to happen, to free up our time to um, be more focused on the other things that are meaningful in our lives, instead of having to spend 60, 80 hours a week trying to earn a living. I've done that before, and it was very difficult. It's challenging for families when we need to spend that much time to pay the bills and make sure there's food on the table. So I think being able to look for the solutions we need and the teams and other people, and being able to trust them to do the part they're supposed to do so that we can enjoy the results together and team up to make it happen. So I wouldn't be able to do it on my own for sure. That's for sure.
Miss Anne, let's talk about the acquisition strategies. What red flags do you look for when evaluating a passive business or real estate deal?
Um, I think we always look at the tax records and all the things that have already been happening with that real estate property or business. We want to make sure that it's kind of like when you're starting to date someone or a new relationship, you kind of look at how they've been handling hard situations, how things have happened, and we do that with the businesses too. It's due diligence is the word we use. That you want to just check everything out. The red flags would be like there's not good record keeping. They don't know how many more customers will be coming in. They don't know how to take care of current customers and fulfill on what they've already said. Most businesses who've been in business 10 or 15 years have figured that all out. And so then it's just a process of figuring out with our team, how are we going to make that continue? All the good things that are happening, and how do we change a little bit of the struggles that that particular business has had? If we don't feel like we can make a good impact for good with that particular business, we'll wait and decide on a different one. So it's a process of um, taking counsel and wisdom from each other, figuring out what's already happening well and what's not, and then making sure that we get a good process going before we buy something. so that after we buy it, it becomes a really good opportunity for all the employees to be really happy with the result, and all the other people that are counting on that business for their livelihood, that they're in good shape, that the employees are happy, the customers are happy, and it's become, as they say, a win-win. We want everybody to win, or we don't want to do it. We'll choose something else where we can be of more help. I think it's a service to offer to families and businesses to try and make sure it's a win for everybody. So
How do you scale from one asset to a portfolio without getting overwhelmed?
um, that probably comes back to your earlier question. I have had to learn how to trust people, to trust other people to help me, and to not be afraid to ask questions and be really vulnerable, and like, oh, I don't know if this is working. I'm feeling overwhelmed, just to be very honest and open with everyone involved, so that you all get on the same roadmap of where you're trying to go with something. So I I actually don't have a lot of overwhelm now because of the systems and teams we've put in place. Before this, in the last 20-25 years, we did have a lot of that, and it was very stressful. And so I think it's just a process of, realizing that we do need to have teams and people helping, and I need to be really open and honest with them, in a kind way, to just say, I'm not understanding this. I have more questions. How can we help this all to work out? Um, Probably the two number one skills, I think, are communication and problem solving. And that helps me to get out of that overwhelmed place. How can I communicate about this and how can I solve it? Instead of saying, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed, I can't do it, I can't. We go out of the I can't do it, like Grandpa said, into the how can I do it? How can I make sure that this gets resolved and we have good communication to figure it out together? So
Miss Anne, what's your advice for someone stuck in a research mode who never takes action?
you're asking such great questions. Probably going back
Thank
to
you.
Grandpa's advice, just instead of saying, oh, I can't do it, I'm too afraid, I'm too worried, find that place where you can say, how can I? I've seen other people take this step and it's working out for them. How can I figure that out? What if I don't personally have enough money to do something? How can I find a way to share something with a partner, or some other way to find what I need? What if I don't have enough time? What if I don't have enough? Instead of saying, oh, I can't do it, I'm too overwhelmed, can't take action, just say, how could I take one tiny little step today? How could I, maybe just one phone call, or a few minutes studying a book or a chapter out of something that you want to learn? I love audiobooks because they help me to uh, feel like I'm moving forward and learning something to get ready to take that next step. And then we're not in a stuck place very long. And it's okay to take a rest, step off the path for a second, get your breath back, put the oxygen mask on, and then be like, okay, now how can I take the next step? Because I think sometimes we try to see the whole thing and take the whole long journey today, when maybe we just need to take the next two steps today. And tomorrow we'll do two more. You can go on a very, very wonderful, amazing experience in life, just a little bit at a time every day. Uh, doesn't have to be big, big jumps. And wow, I went from nothing to $1 million by tomorrow. That's probably not going to happen. But today I learned how to do one more thing a little bit better and a little bit better. And tomorrow I'm going to learn another thing and do a little better and a little better. That 1% better that you might have heard from different sports teams and things, they get a little bit better and a little bit better, and it starts adding up. So I think that's the advice. Just celebrate those wins every day. Something good is happening every day. And then you'll gain that momentum to keep going, keep trying.
Yes, indeed. Count your blessing, people, and stop complaining.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you for your advice, Miss Anne. How do you help clients push past the fear of making their first big investment?
I think just sometimes I think people are afraid to fail, so they don't want to try. And I had a wise person told me that if we look at failure as learning, like a child learning to walk, they're gonna fall down. Things are gonna happen,
Yes.
but that's how we learn, right? And so I think that quote that we hear sometimes, fail our way to success, that really is true. Let Oh, that way didn't work. Let's get back up and try walking again. Let's oh, the way that I thought it was going to work isn't working, but maybe another way will work. And instead of taking it really personally, like, oh, I'm never going to be enough, I'm a failure, it's all terrible. What if we just said, oh, that's one of the ways that the light bulb didn't work, but I'm going to keep trying 1,000 more tries. And I'm so grateful that they didn't give up on the light bulb. We love electricity and all the amazing things that happen, but it was because we just kind of had that mindset of it's not going to work the first time, but we take those little steps every day and we'll get to the destination. It's, you know, driving from California to New York might not happen all today, but we can take the turns and use our GPS and take the left turn and the right turn and reroute this way and detour that way and still get there, and it'll be great. So I think that's the main thing, is not to be afraid of making a mistake and failing, and just be excited and curious about, oh, okay, I guess what something else will happen now that's better. So
Yes, indeed. And Miss Anne, as helping people to gain their financial freedom, what would be your short-term and long-term goals?
um for me, short term at first was like, okay, we're going to get that house paid off or paid down and reuse that equity over and over and over again for free. We don't have to ever refinance again. We'll not need to change our house loan at all. And in the meantime, it can be helping us create income. So short term would be that. Give yourself permission to investigate that, see if it's a workable tool for you, or find other ways to have partners, other people that have what you want, that you can share and help each other to get the result you want. Long term, my husband, for our family, I would like to own several different businesses so we can help our children. Um, but long term for other people might be, I want to be able to take my family on a trip every year, or I want to have these experiences with my loved ones, or I want to have this much money coming in. And I think if we begin with the end in mind, as they say, and we say, I want this much to be happening, what do I have to do in all those little tiny steps, a little bit at a time, each day, um, to make sure that, by this time next year, we've taken 300 more steps and we're closer than we ever were. And then the following year, we're still taking those little steps. So, short and long term are amazing. And then celebrating those daily wins, I think, so that you just feel like, wow, I'm not quite where I want to be completely, but I'm on my way. I'm on that journey and I'm going to get there because I keep trying, you know.
Yes, try
I'm trying.
until you succeed,
Yep.
people. That's the secret ingredients, and don't afraid to commit mistake or failure because you're gonna learn from them.
Yep.
Miss Anne, before we wrap up our discussion for today, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry in second season, book 101 review in its fifth season too, comedy 101 and second season, food 101 in fifth season, as well as my book 101 review, abstract essay, Geography 101 and Love Letters in third season, and my baby podcast, Mental Health 101. Movie 101 review and Music 101 in fourth season, and Science 101 and Sex 101 in its first season. Please do listen to them wherever you listen your podcast. Miss Anne, if someone listening wants to start today, what's one action you'd tell them to take this week?
If they wanted to work with me just to get our free ebook and give themselves permission to have those same two phone calls I had to figure that out. But you have so much good information for anything that they would like to learn, right? Just like what you
Yes.
said. Go listen to those podcasts. Um, Take 5 minutes to write down your dreams and the amazing big picture you'd like to have in the next 5 years, and then work your way backward from there. Um, Give yourself permission to dream and have fun, just like you would have when you were a little kid. There's so much out there just waiting. And I think as adults, we kind of get stuck and we stop learning and we stop trying new things and we stop giving ourselves permission to really just love our life. Like, what would it be like if money was easy and our health was easy and all of those different topics that you just addressed that you've got podcasts about? What if that was totally fun and something exciting to look forward to every day to learn something new? Um, I Those are great first steps. Just find that childlike curiosity and enjoyment again, and make that phone call, find that podcast, figure out amazing things you can do for 5 and 10 minutes at a time. Doesn't have to be a lot of time, and it can make a big difference and start a good new direction for everything you've always wanted to figure out. So, yeah.
Miss Anne Pells, thank you so much for sharing your knowledge to the world and helping us to obtain our financial freedom. So, can you please invite our listeners to support your business itself?
Yes, I would love to have everybody come see us. Yes, lifegiverlegacy.com and Charity on Top. It does really good things for kids and families all over the world. So, yeah.
All over the world. Miss Anne, before we go, can you recommend a book that empowers you, your journey?
Oh, my favorite book is 10x is easier than 2x and Limitless by Chris Crone. Those I'll give you a bonus book. So those two were life changing for me. Helped
Yes,
really open
people.
my eyes. Yeah.
Highly recommended by Miss Anne. Again, please do uh, tell the title of the book.
10x is easier than 2x by Dan Sullivan and Limitless by Chris Crone. Especially in the back, read the end before the beginning of Limitless, and you'll learn so much. It was so fun for me, just
Yes.
life changing.
Life changing books. People, please read them. So, Miss Anne, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciated getting to know you. Thank you.
Modicon people, see you soon.